you showing up and showing out. Hello, mate. I was just talking to my friend and she was telling me about her grandfather in the Ukraine and how he would pass out Bibles and literature as a Christian man. And the oppressive regime wanted him to deny Christianity and deny his faith, basically deny Jesus, and he wouldn't. And they said, well, we're going to put you in prison for 10 years, and they did. And he never denied his faith. And then he told her that when he was in prison, he was actually really happy because he held on to his faith and he faced something really, really difficult and didn't deny his freedom of thought, didn't deny his freedom to believe what he believed. The oppressive regime wanted to be God and wanted to deny God, even though they're below God. And he wouldn't acquiesce. And he felt, even though they put him in prison, they could never take away they couldn't take away what his soul was and what his soul had, and his heart and his faith and his belief and his freedom to think. I was thinking of, or reading Viktor Frankl stuff, Man's Search for Meaning, and how he had his whole manuscript of his life work taken away when they put him in the camps. And then, but that ended up giving him purpose because he wanted to recapture all those words he lost, all that work he lost. So he would write down in little corners of paper things he would remember, and it gave him a sense of purpose to keep valuing his internal dialogue and his freedom of thought, his freedom to think, his freedom to express himself. And when I think about like all he went through to give messages to people, to communicate, and what kind of things people face historically when forces of oppression overreach and overstep. I'm thinking about our time right now and how so many people think and feel a certain way but are too afraid to say it. Just even in my world lately, when I've been expressing myself openly, so many people behind the scenes come to me and say, hey, I really respect what you're doing and I agree with you. I wish I could speak up too. And it's like, you can speak up. Right now, all you're facing is ridicule from people who are indoctrinated. You're facing. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just letting you know I'm going to close the gate for you. Oh, you're going to close the gate? Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I just was doing a video. Okay. Close the gate. All right. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Nothing's ever easy. There's always interference. So yeah, I got kicked. I was in a private parking lot apparently. Anyway, so yeah, so basically all we're facing now is ridicule, which, you will get. You will face ridicule from the thoroughly indoctrinated that believe having freedom of thought and discourse over certain things is inappropriate somehow, is not okay to talk about certain things. And but it's a slippery slope. It's like it starts here and then where does it go? And there's a historical precedent for all this stuff, for all this like shutting down of the ability to speak our minds. And it goes to some really dangerous and really dark places. So I think it's important to speak your mind, because even ever since I've been speaking my mind, I feel so much brighter on the inside, and facing ridicule is nothing compared to that internal feeling of how you feel when you feel like you're not shutting yourself down, you're not shutting your voice down, you're enabling yourself to express the way you feel and the way you think, and you're giving yourself validity. You're not just like succumbing to groupthink, especially when groupthink is led and agenda-based by, pretty obviously nefarious organizations that have a track record of a lot of human suffering and a lot of human despair and all that other stuff. And regardless, conversations need to be had. People need to be able to freely express what they think and come to whatever conclusion they ultimately come to. The point being, though, is we need to be able to express ourselves, and we need to protect the right to express ourselves. And the only thing that's going to do that is if you use your voice. And the only way you're going to, ultimately you're going to have to endure some ridicule, but you also have to consider the source of where that's coming from. And understand how, that's been devised that way. And then question why. Just because anybody who questions the mainstream narrative doesn't mean you're a kook or a conspiracy theorist or whatever. It just means you're a critical thinker. It's wild. It's wild. So, yeah, when you think about what people have faced to express themselves in the past compared to now, it's wild. It's wild that all we have to face right now is a little bit of ridicule from the thoroughly indoctrinated. And because the debate is uneven in the public square. It's all those hysterical voices that feel free and righteous to relay the mainstream narrative over and over and over again in an echo chamber. And anyone who speaks out against the mainstream narrative, they then get hysterical and emotional and name-cally and threatened and immediately try to silence any voices of dissent. And the problem is that's effective because we're tribal. Human beings are tribal. And if we feel threatened, if we feel like we're going to be excommunicated from the tribe on a deep level of our, deep subconscious programming level, that's akin to being dead. That's akin to death because, back when we were in the jungle or whatever, if you got excommunicated, you would go out into the forest and die or whatever. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I get where the fear is coming from. It's a deep fear to overcome, but I'm telling you, it's an illusion. And you will feel stronger and better and finally proud of yourself that you are facing potential ridicule or ridicule and social shame, and allowing your voice to ring out and inspiring others to do that, because that's how we will protect our rights. That's how we will protect our ability to speak our minds. And if you think that our ability to speak our minds isn't under attack, I don't know where you've been, because it is. And the walls are closing in more and more, which is why I finally decided to I'm speaking out. And I don't regret it at all, not even a little bit, quite the opposite. I'm very, very, very pleased that I've been speaking out. And I would encourage you to do the same. We need you to do the same. And if God forbid this thing goes really, really dark, and it gets to the point where my friend's grandfather who had to go to prison because he wouldn't deny his beliefs, it goes to those places. So, but God forbid if it goes to that type of place, what she told me he said to her was he felt happy because he knew he didn't deny his beliefs, his freedom to think. He didn't deny his center, his core of who he was, and his belief in Jesus. Amen, everybody. God bless. Don't be afraid. Be bold and be brave. Come on. Buck up, buckaroos. Peace.